Hello and welcome again to Shardcast. I'm your host, Frotelvania, and today I'll be bringing you some exhibition matchup between a new person to Shardcast. His name is Red Yeti King. He did an exhibition match against Yire, which I'll be featuring today on today's Shardcast. What I like to do every once in a while is go through the Twitch channel for Hex and see if I can't find someone out there who's been casting on a regular basis, is providing a stream to where I can actually cast off of it, and I like to feature them on Shardcast. Hopefully they can get some more recognition. Maybe they can get some more followers from this, and I can produce some quality content for you. That being said, Red Yeti King is going to be playing a Blood Sapphire deck centered around one of the new cards called Chimes of the Zodiac, whereas Yire is going to try to put together a berry deck, or known as the mill deck to the Magic community, but a berry deck, hopefully with the addition of a couple new cards here, especially one called Spawn of Othiyeg. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Hopefully with that he can put together a decent deck to where maybe the theme of having a berry deck would be viable in the meta we have so far. So let's go ahead and get you out to the matchup. Again, this is going to be an exhibition matchup, and we'll be viewing it from Red Yeti King's point of view. He's going to play Wyatt the Sapper as his champion, and Yire no doubtedly playing Nin the Shadow, as it is the berry deck. Red Yeti King's looking at 2 Sapphire Shards, 2 Relentless Corruptions, Zombie Plague, Hex Engine, and Eldritch Dreamer. He might go ahead and throw that one back just because he has a lot of blood cards in his hand, and not any blood shards. Yep, there he goes. You'd like to be able to play out soon, and this one's only 1 shard hand too as well, so he's going to keep it though. Hopefully he'll draw into some shards. Yire will be going first. Yire also mulligan down to 6 cards. So Yire plays a Sapphire Shard for turn, and we'll pass turn over to Red Yeti King. I'll have all of Red Yeti King's links at the bottom of the page after you're done viewing the video. Please visit his Twitch page, subscribe to his Twitch page. He's been putting up some content on a regular basis now, so any chance you can get to support him, that'd be great. I'll try to go ahead and get his Twitter information I can. Red Yeti King, if you view this video and I don't have your Twitter information up, please send me a tweet. That way I can get your information out there so you can get some more followers there as well. So Yire plays a Sapphire Shard, and there's that new card, Spawn of Othiyeg, who just came out in this last patch, patch 825. That's a 1/1 flight troop, and when it deals damage to opposing champion, you bury the top card of their deck. If there are 10 or more cards in opposing graveyards, key, it's opposing graveyards, so when we get to multiplayer, that's going to be huge. Bury the top 5 cards of their deck instead. He also uses his champion power, so you saw Red Yeti King bury 2 cards. Red Yeti King still drawing shards here, which is good. He drops a Sapphire Shard this turn, and we'll pass turn back over. Both players still at 20 health. Yire with that Spawn of Othiyeg on the board, so you'll see him getting to work here very quickly. Drops a Sapphire Shard, and swings his 1/1 flyer. With no response, Yeti King will take that damage, go down to 19, and we'll see 1 card get buried from the deck. Also what you're noticing, new to this patch, are the deck sleeves, as you can notice on Red Yeti King's deck there. That appears to be the Ascetic Aspirant on the back of his deck. Hex featuring some of the new deck sleeves that you can get if you were one of the Kickstarter backers, or that you may be winning in the treasure chest you get when you open a pack. So Yire drops Twisted Fate on second main phase. We'll do that in a second. In the meantime, Red Yeti King drops Blood Shards and plays a Murder to get the Spawn off the board. Twisted Fate is a 2-drop that says whenever you draw a card, opposing champion discards a card. Or I'm sorry, buries a card. Buries a card. There you go, as Red Yeti King shows that to you. So Yire will use his champion ability as well. So I'm thinking that's getting pretty darn close to 10 cards in the graveyard there in case another Spawn comes out. Yire plays a second Twisted Fate. That means each time he draws a card, 2 cards will be buried. We'll pass turn back over Red Yeti King. Red Yeti King stuck on 3 shards here, plays a Relentless Corruption. So we'll take the top card of Yire's deck, which is a shard. That's huge. That Relentless Corruption will go back into Red Yeti King's deck, and he'll take 2 cards next time he plays one. So Red Yeti King at 4 resources. 3 blood threshold, 1 sapphire threshold. Yire's at 4 resources as well, 2 blood, 2 sapphire. And out comes Zinton's Inquisitor. This one's got the flight gem in it, and you can see the new art on it. The whole right side where all the runes will light up with the color of whatever gem is in there. That is a sapphire gem giving it flight. Red Yeti King draws a blood shard for turn. You can play Oracle Song first. Picks up a peak and a blood shard. Plays blood shard, which should light up champion abilities. We'll play a zombie plague. That's another newer card. It didn't come out this patch, but the previous patch. That says at the beginning of your turn, reveal 3 random cards from your opponent's library. For a troop revealed, give it permanent cost -1/-1. If its toughness reaches 0 this way, void that card and put a zombie in play under your control. If he passes his turn back over, Yire is going to use Chronic Madness, which will bury the top 4 cards of Red Yeti King's library to see them go to the graveyard. He's down to 34 now. And that's Escalation card, which means it'll go back into Yire's library. Next time he plays, it will be 8 cards. Yire swings for 3, and we'll see some actual damage go through now. Red Yeti King down to 16. The object of a bury deck is not to necessarily win by damage. That's a secondary win condition, as we see the top 3 revealed there. Didn't quite get a chance to look at him. Looked to be 2 shards and a Buccaneer. Wasn't quite sure what that showed, but here comes Peak. 1 card mastery time. He'll go ahead and take that, put in his hand. But back to the bury deck. Its primary goal is to have you bury all the cards in your library. If you don't have any more cards to draw in your library and you have to draw a card, you automatically lose the game. The secondary win condition is going to be the damage. Yire seems to be ahead on both counts at this point in time. So we'll see how this works out. Yire draws a card. 2 more go to the library, or go to the graveyard from Yeti King. Now down to 30 cards in the library. Yire drops a Sapphire Shard, and then swings the Inquisitor. No responses. Red Yeti King down to 13. 5 resources back, so we'll see what Yire can play. Yire can play in his second main phase. It's Yire, not Yar. I'm not a pirate. So Buccaneer comes down. 2/2 troop, and he can bounce a troop, bounce any troop back to the owner's hand, but he's not going to bounce his own Inquisitor back or his own Buccaneer. Red Yeti King has no troops, so he'll bypass that ability. Red Yeti King drops a blood shard that he draws for turn. He's up to 7 resources now, and out comes Chimes. Chimes of Zodiac is an artifact, meaning it's going to be permanent out in play until it's removed. And it says whenever you play an action, copy it, and then you can choose a new target for that copied action. So this could turn the tables tremendously for Red Yeti King. Yire draws 2 more cards to the graveyard. Yire's going to swing all 5. So Red Yeti King will now go down to 8, but in his next turn, assuming that Yire doesn't have any counter magic in hand, which you usually don't play that with the buried decks. You saw those 3 cards pop up for Zombie Plague. Again, no troops in there, so Red Yeti can technically play a Murder and play it twice because of the Chimes. It will only cost him 3. So draw a card off his champion ability. It's a Hex Engine. So go ahead and play that. That's a 4-cost artifact, and when you exhaust it, you gain 2 temporary resources, which he'll do immediately. So go back up to 6 resources. Mastery time, probably, or is he going Extinct first? Extinction's odd with Chimes of Zodiac. He could have gotten away with a Murder here, because a Murder would have gotten 2 troops off the board. Whereas Extinction gets all the troops, so if for whatever reason Yire ends up getting a lot of troops out there, that might come back to bite him, but we'll see. In the meantime, Red Yeti King's down to 2 resources and pass the turn back over. Yire will draw 2 more cards to the graveyard for Red Yeti King, down to 23 now in his library. Sapphire Shard comes down, 6 resources available, 4 Sapphire Threshold, 2 blood. Champion ability, 2 more cards to the graveyard. 21 now for Red Yeti King, who has a Murderer, Mastery Time, and Archmage Renlock in hand. Here comes High Tomb Lord, which is going to look nice on board for a turn. It's a 29/29 because it gets power and toughness equal to the number of cards in all graveyards. Unfortunately, we know Red Yeti King has a Murder in hand. So it looks pretty for a moment. Red Yeti King draws a Sapphire Shard, plays Archmage Renlock, which is a good play first, because it also says when you play an action, draw a card. We'll see if that copies as well. Out comes a Murder, draw a card. Chimes the Zodiac, hits the chain. He gets to choose another target. The Murder won't target anybody, so we can't see if that will actually work. He drew a peek from Archmage Renlock's ability. He's going to use that. He'll draw a card from Archmage Renlock. That's a Sapphire Shard. He looks top 3. He's going to go get the Dreamer. He gets to use peek again. Top 3. The Dreamer or the Relentless Corruption? I'm probably going to Relentless Corruption here. Let's see, he's thinking about it. Oh, he's going Eldritch Dreamer. So Yeti King is out of resources now for this turn, but he's got a Sapphire Shard, Mastery Time, and 2 Eldritch Dreamers in hand, a Archmage Renlock on board, along with the Hex Engine, Times the Zodiac, and Zombie Plague. Yire is continuing to bury Yeti King's cards. Yeti King's down to 14. You have to remember, when he's drawing all these cards, though, he's also burying all his own cards as well, so it's helping Yire out a little bit. So I'm not sure why he picked the Eldritch Dreamer, because if I'm reading that correctly, it's got the Sapphire Gem in it, meaning he's going to draw a card each time he does damage. So unless he's got the... what is that, the Cosmic Tower? Cosmic Totem. Cosmic Totem artifact, which allows him to shuffle his graveyard back in his deck. This could be trouble for a Yeti King. Yire plays a Zentos Inquisitor and a Spawn of Othiyeg again. Random 3 cards. Okay, so here comes Relentless Corruption. He got one anyway. Down goes a Shard. 10 resources available. Uses his champion ability. Draws a Sapphire Shard. Mastery Time. Draws Relentless Corruption off the Renlock. Mastery Time, he'll get 1 extra turn. He'll get 2 extra turns due to the Chimes. Eldritch Dreamer comes out. Uses Hex Engine to gain 2 temporary resources. And we'll see a Relentless Corruption. Draw a card off the Renlock. He's going to take top card off of the opponent's library. There's top 2 cards, and then 4. Okay, top 1 card plus he got the Renlock. Then top 2 cards, because he casts a second time, automatically escalates. So do 2 cards, and then a card off the Renlock again. So 5 cards there. He's overloaded with 11 in hand now. Out of that, I picked up a whole bunch of shards, an Oracle Song, an Extinction, and a Chronic Madness. So the Renlock and the Inquisitor trade. Discard phase for Yeti King, who's still sitting at 8 health, but 12 cards in his library, so he's on a clock. A 6-turn clock as it is. Yeah, he's going to get rid of all his draw cards here. Yire draws for turn. we're on Red Yeti King's turn, I'm sorry. Because of Mastery Time. Now come in Eldritch Dreamer again. He could cast Mastery Time again and get 2 more turns. He's going to. So basically, Yire's just sitting and waiting. The problem is Red Yeti King's going to be drawing some cards here shortly. He may actually bury himself out of the game. Relentless Corruption will actually help, because he'll actually draw 4 plus 1 is... no, there's no plus 1 now. It's supposed to be 4 and 6, so he should draw 10 next time he plays Relentless Corruption. Alright, so he's a swing with the Dreamer. No blocks. So Yire will go down to 17. Draw a card. Blood Shard. Relentless Corruption. This should go 4 and 6. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, it goes 1 each time. I'm sorry, it's 4 and 5. My apologies. So he draws 9 cards off of 3 resources there. 14 cards in hand. End phase, he's going to have to discard a lot. I'm guessing he's getting rid of all of his shards. Gets rid of Lord Benjamin because he has no humans in his deck, I would imagine, so it doesn't help him out. Gets rid of his 2 extinctions. Not worried about the spawn. He's still got another turn because of Mastery of Time last time. So this should be his last turn, assuming he doesn't play Mastery of Time again. Which we know he has 1 in hand. Here comes a shard. 12. Ancestor's Chosen will put cards back in his deck. That will help. Spawn off the egg. That is Yire's card. You can tell by the change in threshold color. Zarlok's Broodlord, which I'm guessing was Yire's card. That is a berry card. Here comes Mastery Time, so Red Yeti King will get 2 more turns. So Yeti King's going to swing both Dreamers here. Can't be blocked, so that'll be 6 damage. He'll draw 2 cards, go down to 8 cards in his library. But Yire will be down to 9 health. I'm sorry, 11 health for those of you who can actually use math correctly. So Red Yeti King trying to turn the tables here. He's got to hope he can do something the next couple turns, or else he's going to run out of cards in his library. The Ancestor Chosen is going to put 2 more back in his library, so he's up to 10. The problem is, it puts Specters in his deck, which draw card. It's a cantrip card. It'll draw cards as soon as he plays it. So Corruption, this will be 6 and 7. 3, 4, 5, 6. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 8, 9, 10. I must have missed something there. Not quite sure why there's so many cards. Unless I miscounted there. That should have only been 6 and 7. Should have been 13 cards in hand. Either way, Red Yeti King's up to 22. Yire gives the good game because all Red Yeti King has to do now is swing, or he's actually going to probably just bury. Yeah, he's going to bury Yire out of his cards here. So here comes the rest of the cards out of Yire's deck, which should actually end the game, I'd imagine, especially if he plays Chronic Madness. He's trying to find it in the mess of his 30 cards in hand. There it is. The Chronic Madness. Yire's out of cards, and that should end the game. It did not. Okay. The attack will end the game, if nothing else. So I don't know if that's an intended bug, if they're saying that they must be on your draw step, or how that's going to work, but that should have ended the game with the Chronic Madness. Either way, end by damage. So that's a different look there, using the Chimes deck and Relentless Corruption. So I appreciate Red Yeti King putting his streams out there. I thank him for use of his stream. And that is actually how you can look at a new berry deck using some of the new cards from patch 8.2.5 played by Yire. So a good game. Lots of information out there for some of you players, maybe trying some different deck styles. In addition, that is our first video for Red Yeti King, so I hope to be featuring his videos here more often on Shardcast. As long as he continues to stream at the pace he's streaming, that shouldn't be a problem. So, thanks again for tuning in to Shardcast. This was episode 34. Look at the links below this video here, and make sure you subscribe to Red Yeti King's Twitch channel. Subscribe to my Twitch channel as well as my Twitter account. That way you know whenever there's a new Shardcast available. And as soon as I get Red Yeti King's Twitter handle, I'll make sure I post that as well, so make sure you actually follow him on Twitter. So, thanks again for tuning in. My name is Fruitlevania. And until next time, so long.
makes you stop.